Welcome to section 5.3, the Calvin cycle. Now that we've seen how the light-dependent reactions capture sunlight and make ATP and NADPH, it's time to look at how plants turn that stored energy into sugar. This stage is called the Calvin cycle, also known as the light-independent or dark reactions. It doesn't require light directly, but it depends completely on the products of the light reactions. By the end of this section, you should be able to describe the Calvin cycle, define carbon fixation, and explain how photosynthesis fits into the energy cycle of life. These objectives connect the biochemical steps to the bigger ecological picture. Remember, photosynthesis happens in two stages. First, the light-dependent reactions in the thylakoid membranes produce ATP and NADPH. Second, the Calvin cycle in the stroma uses those molecules to build carbohydrates from carbon dioxide. The two stages are tightly connected. If one stops, the other can't continue. The Calvin cycle uses ATP and NADPH from the light-dependent reactions to power the conversion of CO2 into sugars. It takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. Even though it's sometimes called the dark reactions, it's not really about darkness. It's about not needing light directly. The Calvin cycle has three main stages. First, carbon fixation. Carbon dioxide is attached to a 5-carbon molecule called RuBP by the enzyme Rubisco. Second, reduction. ATP and NADPH are used to convert the molecule 3-PGA into G3P, a higher energy sugar. Third, regeneration. Some G3P is used to rebuild RuBP so the cycle can continue. It takes 6 turns of the Calvin cycle to make one glucose molecule, because each turn fixes one carbon dioxide. In total, producing one glucose uses 18 ATP and 12 NADPH. 12 ATP and 12 NADPH for the reduction step, and 6 ATP for regenerating RuBP. This shows how energy intensive sugar production really is. Prokaryotes don't have chloroplasts, but some can still perform photosynthesis. They use folded areas of their cell membrane to hold pigments and carry out reactions similar to those in plant chloroplasts. Photosynthesis captures sunlight to make glucose and oxygen. Cellular respiration uses those products to make ATP. The outputs of one process are the inputs of the other. This recycling of atoms and flow of energy links all living things in one big interconnected system. Some plants have evolved special strategies to deal with hot, dry climates. C4 plants, like corn, separate carbon fixation and the Calvin cycle into different cell types to reduce photorespiration. CAM plants, like cacti, open their stomata at night to take in CO2, store it as malic acid, and use it during the day, helping them save water. The Calvin cycle is the stage of photosynthesis that builds carbohydrates from CO2 using ATP and NADPH. It's essential for storing solar energy in a form that can power life. From microscopic algae to giant trees, this same cycle is running around the planet every day.